So you might be thinking that it's a bit early for a meme deck here in the new game. It's been like, what, a little over a week since it released, and you wouldn't be wrong. But when the game gives you 3 copies of Burn Knight and 3 copies of Prince of Cocytus, sometimes you just have to make do with the things you're given. So today we're going to be playing a meme deck built around making the Cocytus deck an OTK deck. So let's look at the deck list you're playing for today first. So this is the list I ended on after some testing and playing around. It's not even a good deck, to be clear. It's just a meme deck. So the idea is you use Ruler of Cocytus to give you the Cocytus deck, and then it gives you 4 different cards. It gives you Silent Rider, Servant of Cocytus, Demon of Purgatory, and Astros Reckoning, sorry. So normally when you're playing Cocytus, this one is the Servant of Cocytus is usually the hardest card to use. So in order to fix that problem, we are running 3 copies of Zell. On Super Evolve, he gives an allied follower Storm. You can give it to the Cocytus Servant, and it will be 13 Storm damage for 4 play points. And with the Super Evolve ping, that's a total of 14 damage. So you just need 6 more damage out of somewhere. And to get that, you have Silent Rider who can Storm for 10, or you have Demon of Purgatory who can deal 6 damage to the face. So that is the OTK idea, and of course you have the backup plan of Astros Reckoning. You set opponent's max defense to 1, and then use Burn Knight's crest effect to just one-shot them from 1 health during their turn. So yeah, this is the list. The rest is ramp and card draw and removal. The goal is just to survive until you can play Cocytus. And then we have Dragonic Berserker here, which is a really weird card, but it's surprisingly helpful, so that's why it's here. So yeah, this is the list we're running today. It's not good in the slightest, but let's look at how it plays. Our first game here is against Rune, and we are going first. For the mulligan, we look for a ramp. That's it. You can consider keeping Cocytus and Zell as well, but I think looking for a ramp is the most consistent way to play this deck, mainly. You can also consider keeping the card draw cards, which is like just one of them, but you know. Anyway, the goal is to just ramp into Cocytus after you draw Zell. Remember that Cocytus does delete your deck, so you have to find Zell before playing it. Otherwise, you're relying on just the Cocytus deck to win your games. This deck is bad, so against any meta deck it is bad, so it's weak in this matchup, but you know, we can give it our best shot. Just go ahead and clear their followers to minimize damage while we look to play Cocytus as soon as possible. Going second is of course valuable because you can cheat out the Dragon Sign, and then you can cheat out the Cocytus on 9 play points as well. We evolve Bell Angel to draw. Bell Angel is the best standard evolve in this deck because you can draw with her. And we do pick up the Dragon Sign, so we can go ahead and ramp 1 more time, which is pretty good for us. Pick up Zell as well, so all our pieces are in place. Now we just need to drop Cocytus, and then we can look to use Zell or Burn Knight to finish them off, depending on what we draw from the Cocytus deck. My opponent drops another Angrea. If they evolve the Angrea, it's actually quite annoying because we can't clear it very well. Oh, that was true last turn, I guess. But this time we can use Burn Knight. Just toss the Dragonic Wind Reader here. I think I Super Evolve here. I definitely didn't need to do that. Probably should have saved the Super Evolve for later on. It's more useful later. But I guess taking the Burn Knight effect is active. Super Evolve for Twilight Dragon is pretty good because you can draw into your Cocytus deck to find your lethal pieces. You need at least 2 pieces from the Cocytus deck, so saving a Super Evolve for Twilight Dragon is probably worth it. This is a pretty free turn. They play another Angrea here, so we just go ahead and drop another Cocytus. And now we just have to survive until we find lethal pieces. My opponent does whip out their Kuon, which is fine. We take quite a bit of damage here, but other than the Kuon and Hans 10, they don't actually have that much burst damage from hand, so even though we are a bit low here, it's not the end of the world quite yet. There's Blaze Destroyer, that is fine. We can just clear that with Twilight Dragon anyway. Pick up Silent Rider, which like honestly is the worst card in this deck. Once you have Zell, Silent Rider is actually the worst card in the Cocytus deck for you because it's so heavy and it's less value than all your other Cocytus deck cards. Does it even play well with Zell because Zell can't give Storm to a follower that already has Storm? I mean, you can, but it doesn't do anything. Everyone drops another cool one, which is fun for them, I suppose. They can go ahead and super evolve cool one if they want. They just standard evolve though, so I guess they are looking to super evolve on maybe a cool one enhance or maybe some kind of Cocytus combo. Got Silent Rider, which unfortunately means we don't quite have lethal yet. It is genuinely the worst card to draw here. It's the only card that would give me lethal. But here we are. So we go ahead and use our cards to just clear. You can see we're running out of resources a bit. We use the Silent Rider to trade because the face damage isn't that valuable since we can OTK with this deck anyway. If we draw another Silent Rider next turn, we are actually in quite a bit of trouble because that is probably the one way we lose this game at this point. Oh, other than Enhanced 10 cooldown of course, but thankfully it looks like they didn't have Enhanced 10 cooldown, which is good for me. They do heal here, try to get out of my lethal range, but my lethal range is their entire health, so it doesn't matter. So we do pick out the Servant here, so we can go ahead and use Zell to give it Storm. And then we can combine it with Silent Rider for a nice 23 face damage. So that's it for this game. Our next game here is against Sword, and we are going second. Again, going second is best. Against Sword, you probably want to keep Apollo and Strike of the Dragon in addition to your RAM cards, because if you don't manage their board early, you will die. My opponent does drop the Lens Trooper early on, which is very annoying for me because we don't have good board clears. Thought about this for a bit, but I figured probably sinking the Strike of the Dragon Slayer to clear the Lancer was probably a good idea for keeping my Bellringer alive as long as possible to block damage coming to my face. Here conveniently my opponent has a board that Apollo can just clear, so that's good for me. Apollo will use the Vows to clear my Apollo, which as long as they're not going wide, we don't really care what they do. We can go ahead and use the Liu Feng here and to ramp, and we will take out the Vows as well. There is an argument for just saving it for turn 7, but not in this case. Opponent does go for the Luminous Mage here, Mega, sorry. To I guess put our big board, but we can just nuke that with the Calamity Breath and then we just pass. At this point we are just looking for our Zell and our Cocytus, so we can just spend our entire turn clearing board without much trouble. We'll use the Burn Knight here to clear. Unfortunately it does leave the Zirconia alive, but we don't really want to discard our Twilight Dragon right now, since it is our major draw source in our hand. We do Super Evolve the Burn Knight here. Obviously Super Evolving Twilight Dragon is better, but Super Evolving Burn Knight isn't the end of the world. It makes Azeroth much easier to play, so there's that. Thankfully my opponent gives me a pretty free turn here by playing Geno. We can go ahead and just use Divine Thunder to full clear this board and just pass. We are saving the extra play point in case we just top deck Cocytus here, because yeah, and we do top deck Cocytus, but unfortunately we cannot play Cocytus with Amalia's board, so we do have to go ahead and slam this Twilight to clear it. Opponent has another Geno to clear that. They're still saving most of their evil points, but on the bright side we haven't taken much damage yet. Opponent drops the Shinobi Squirrel, which is annoying I suppose. We definitely have free opportunity here, as free as any at least, so we'll go ahead and slam our Cocytus. And we will standard evo it because we are saving the super evo for Zell to give Storm to something. Unfortunately though, we don't have much removal in our hand, which can be a problem because we still need to survive a few more turns until we draw enough pieces for lethal. Opponent will drop the Zirconia here. They will trade. And they do block their own, so they do full out their own board here. If you do the math, hold on, let me pause this. If you do the math, they will have to spend 2 damage getting through this Bell Angel, of course. So they have 7 plus 12, and then with Super Evil that's 15. So they don't quite have lethal. Of course, if the one card, of course, if they have the Iron Crown Majesty, they can just buff their board and I die. But at this point, I have no other way to win the game anyway, so I might as well just try my best. So we do draw into Servant of Cocytus. This guarantees lethal next turn, so all I have to do is survive. Opponent does Super Evolve the Lyrala here. And they all just go face, so thankfully they don't have Iron Crown to buff their board, so we can just finish them off. So a bit of a close game here, but we do manage to find lethal. Go ahead and just give Zell, use Zell to give the Cocytus Storm. At this point they don't even have full health, so I didn't need to Silent Rider or a Purgatory here, so we just go ahead and use Zell to ping one in the hit phase. Our last game here is against Forest, and we're going second again. I realize all the games are going second, but like honestly this deck is terrible, so I need the advantage of going second to win, so you're gonna have to bear with that. Anyway, the gameplay for this deck is very straightforward. Obviously, you just clear board, ramp, and then find your pieces, play Cocytus, and then just OTK from there. So there's not much to showcase, but so I thought for this last game I would showcase my anger at playing this deck, I guess. So we do have 2 Dragon Signs off the bat, which is very strong. So this is looking like a great game, and you'll slowly sense my mental state start to devolve when you see how this game goes. But you know, we just go ahead and ramp here, nothing crazy. We just clear the follower to minimize damage coming to my face. We do have Zell in hand, we have Leah to draw, we have the ramp, so things are looking pretty up. This might be a pretty good game for us. Go ahead and drop the Leah here and evolve her to draw. Of course, we are trying to find our Cocytus. Yeah, Divine Thunder, we can go ahead and ramp with Dragon Sign. And my opponent is going to go ahead and play Fairies here to clear my Bellringer, I suppose. They just used May to clear it. And poke me in the face and pass, so they are saving their evil point, and we haven't taken much damage, which is pretty good. So again, we are evolving Leah to draw into our deck because we just need to find Cocytus. If we can pick Cocytus up next turn, we can use our extra play point to just cheese it out very quickly, so that's the goal. Opponent will use more Fairies here as well as their AoE buff. And Bug Alert as well to buff their buff card, and then they can use me to ping my Bellringer and trade. Clear it, so we do draw here, which is cool. At this point, I just need to find Cocytus, so we'll go ahead and play Twilight Dragon, super evolve it. This does mean that when I play my Cocytus turn, I can't clear any followers. But that's how it is. Unfortunately, we still haven't found Cocytus yet. And my opponent does to Olivia. Olivia is like the bane of this deck because it instantly stops any hope of playing Cocytus, because Cocytus can only clear 1 follower at most. So if they super evolve 2 followers, sort of kind of ruins it, I guess. Top deck Twilight Dragon here, so we will use that to clear their followers, which is fine. You can see all the stars are aligning for me here. They don't even have a good Roach combo set up, so they haven't been able to find lethal. They've just been focused on clearing my board. Unfortunately, we haven't found Cocytus yet. So, I want you to understand that at this point I have 2 solid games, the Rune gameplay and the Sword ones. I thought those were pretty good games for the showcase, so I just needed to get 1 good game left, and this was so cool, and like things were looking up from the start with 3 Dragon Signs. So I had a lot of hope for this game, but unfortunately you can see well, you can't see it, but I can tell my mental state was devolving at this point when I wasn't drawing Cocytus like at all, even though my opponent is breaking. So they do go ahead and generate a bunch of fairies, which will probably allow them to clear my board, which is fine. As long as they spend their resources clearing my board, they are not spending their resources killing me in the face. And we do finally get them to spend an evil point here on their fairy tamer to clear this board. And they do leave this berserker alive. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't mean anything for much. Go ahead and use the Divine Thunder to clear, and then draw. We finally find Cocytus. We can hopefully play it next turn. And then they go ahead and use fairies here, probably to clear my what's this guy's face again, Draconic Berserker. And they do clear it without spending their evil point, which I guess is good for them. And they will pass here, perfect opportunity to slam Cocytus here. So now we just have to follow our game plan. We can get a nice OTK showcase, and then my opponent is unable to clear Cocytus, so they end up conceding, as you will see in a moment. At this point, I was just like, I am done playing this deck. Like, I worked so hard. I had like the nuts in the early game, but because I couldn't find Cocytus until now, I couldn't get an OTK. So those are all the games I have for you today here. Hopefully give you some idea of how this OTK works. This goes without saying, like even more than all of the other decks I've showcased. Do not craft this deck. For the other ones, I'm like, okay, don't craft them, but if you really like the class, you can consider it. This one, just don't. Like, don't do it. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah, I lost a lot of games playing it. I dropped down to Sapphire from Diamond. Surprisingly, I will stay in Sapphire while recording for this stupid deck. I don't really know what's going on, but you know, it's whatever. Anyway, this deck's bad. It's bad against every deck. If we get lucky, you can maybe OTK. That's about it. So yeah, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.